This is the MFS Wellness Podcast. I am Mike Sinopoli, and as you can see, I am getting festive here with the fall season coming up, spooky season, sweater weather, whatever you want to call it, pumpkin spice mania. Fuck it. Who cares, right? We're all ready for it. It's 90 degrees here today in the suburban Chicago area, which is very unfall like, and that does not give me that warm, fuzzy pumpkin cider feel that we want to have right now, but I'm doing my best here with my hoodie and my background of jack-o'-lanterns to do that here because it is coming. It will be here. It will. It's taking its time. I'm not complaining about that because I can still go outside and get some sun, which is beautiful. Never gonna bitch about that in this area of the world. Where we at a minimum of sunlight here, I mean, maybe 4 or 5 months of the tops, we get good sun, you good UV rays, good vitamin D. Fuck it, I'm not gonna bitch. But hey, I will tell you something that this is going to be brought to you by my inner fat ass because I have made a lot of mistakes in my life and I have used the back end of the year to completely stall, thwart, and destroy my own progress. And it was really bad. It comes from extremes, I think. So that's where I'm going to kind of go with it. I've got a bunch of bullet points here. This is just me sharing where I've struggled. Hopefully, it resonates with you. Maybe it can unstick you. Maybe you're on year number one, number two, number five, number 10, trying to do something throughout the year for your body composition and for your health. But the holidays always fuck it up, right? So, first of all, what you want to realize is the holidays starting now, this is September 30th. There's only 5 holidays, right? There's only 5 days where food will become an issue, and technically, it's not even the days; it's actually the meals. One of them's not even a meal. Halloween, right? Okay, that's a day you want to gorge on a little candy. Do it. Halloween, then you got Thanksgiving after that, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then New Year's. So you don't necessarily have to restrict yourself those days. And you can do well most of the day and just have some meals to look forward to or a big bowl of candy, whatever it is. That's all right to do, instead of completely depriving yourself. I think that's the way to go about it instead of the two extremes. And I think that's the first number one thing to learn is to sort of get rid of the extremes, which means the all or none mentality. Because in our society, it really feels like that people believe, and I know I have, that you're either on a hard diet or you're off the rails. There's no in between. Now, the gray area to me is where the success lies, and it's the hardest place to sit because I think we just kind of drift towards an extreme and we let things kind of just go that way. Like, for instance, if you're just gorging on food and not moving for the next 3 months, you're not going to feel very well. And then that can damage your self worth and your confidence. And it's going to get that much harder to restart, not just physically, because you might put on 15 pounds over this next 3 months, but also mentally, because you feel like a failure at the end of it. And you feel gross and you feel sluggish and you feel like to restart is difficult. And then the other way, I mean, if you're going to go on a hardcore diet right now of eating, boiled cod, chicken, broccoli, and green beans, if that's all you're going to eat for the next 3 months, you're going to feel deprived when there's those, good foods and good meals that are made by family and things like that. You're going to feel deprived, and then that's going to suck too. And then you're going to have another shitty feeling. So I would just recommend going into the gray area and just sort of like live in that moderation that they like to say. I know people don't want to talk about moderation because it's boring as shit, but that's really where it's at. And I would not suggest going on anything hardcore. The only time you really need to go on something so rigid is if you're going to be a bodybuilder. I think really. I mean, unless you have some sort of disease or something that your life is at risk, then yeah. But other than that, I've said it before. Poison is in the dosage. You could have a little bit, and you're going to be fine. That's just the way it is. So ditch the all or none mentality. That's the first thing to do. Stop with this all or none. Do not wait and let the new year be false comfort. So what we do sometimes is, maybe we started out this year with a New Year's resolution and we were too rigid. We didn't plan for it. It wasn't something that lined up with our lives and it didn't work. And now we feel shitty about it. We tried maybe a few other things to kind of restart throughout the year. We went through summer without that summer body we were going for. Now you get to the end of the year, you're down about all that, and it's like, well, fuck it. This year didn't work out, so I'm going to throw in the towel, and I'm going to just use New Year as a placeholder, and just let myself go because that's what we do. If you think about it, that's why I'm so against New Year's resolutions in a sense, because I think we pick them that are too extreme, and then I also think that we use it as a false justification for crappy eating habits and to go off the rails. Well, I got the New Year's set, and you don't even plan anything, right? Like sometimes it's like, hey, I'm going to lose weight at the New Year. I'll get it figured out then. But for now, it's going to be all this heavy beer. It's going to be these cocktail parties. It's going to be this rich food. Is all this stuff that's just comes along with this time of year. I mean, that's also a societal norm to unlearn. You don't have to eat like this. You don't have to eat a lot around the holidays. Like it's one of the most like I don't know the stigma of it all. It's just we're supposed to just pig out when we probably spend the rest of the year just pigging out anyways. And to be honest with you, a lot of times while we'll go to these family events and things like that for the holidays, well, yes, is it, is it high calorie food there? Yeah, probably. Are we going to overeat? Sure. But I bet you it's some of the most like cleanest, least processed food we eat all year. So it's like we sit around thinking about Thanksgiving when you can get yourself a plate of turkey and a few homemade sides and a salad or some shit, and it's not a bad meal. It's probably more protein than you eat in a day most of the year. And we shit on that like that's the big weight gainer. I don't know if it is. Like, I mean, there's low satiety foods from these fast food joints that we just kind of constantly go and eat at. And we're gonna sit here and say the holidays did this. I don't think so. It's your everyday baseline. So you fix the baseline and you stick with your baseline throughout the holidays, which is the right way to eat, which is enough protein, enough calories for your goal, and you just build in everything with it. Okay, so that's just the kind of way that it's going to go. So just where I'm going at is a little off topic, but don't use the new year as this justification to go ahead and eat like shit for 3 months. Just don't do it or start a workout or any of that. Don't sit and eat for 3 months and then hope to restart. You're gonna be like an ice cold car sitting in a garage and trying to rev that thing up is gonna suck. It's gonna take some time. And by the time it started up, it's already gonna be fucking March. And then who knows if you've been stuck with whatever you're planning. I would use this time of year to, figure out that balance, plan something to build on. So like you don't have to go all out right now. Like for instance, like just go to the gym. Maybe you want to plan to go to the gym starting now. Start now. Get in the gym and lift weights. Go into a calorie surplus. Build muscle because you can do that and you're supposed to eat extra calories. It's something most people are afraid to do, but it's really beneficial to your body composition and the look that you're probably going for, especially if it's that toned look. If you want that toned look, you have to build muscle. If you build muscle, you have to eat more food. Well, around this time of year, what do you want to do? You want to eat more food. So as long as you can accept a little bit of fat gain, do it the right way, keep it relatively clean 85% of the time, and then have some fun foods along with it and enjoy some meals. And then just hit the gym and go. And that's something I can do to help you with. I can help you with that macro count and that programming to go ahead and get you for the next 3 months on how to, put a muscle building plan together. It's a lot more fun than trying to diet and thinking you got to run around on a treadmill and eat 1,200 calories because that's not going to do it for you. So, I hate the term less is more, but, sometimes, it is. So, when you eat less of these, blissful foods that just hit your taste buds and kind of explode, the less you have of those, when you have them, they're going to taste better. So if you keep on saturating your taste buds with sugar, salt, savory fats, things like that all throughout this season here, you're going to appreciate them less and less and less because it's for instance, like if you just sit down and have a piece of cake or some shit, what's the best part? The first bite is the best, okay? Because then the second one's okay, and then after that, all right, they're all fine, but you're kind of like, okay, that's enough of this. And your mouth gets that film on it, and it's like, oh, this is fucking gross now. So maybe you get a headache or something like that, like I do. If I don't eat enough sugar or a lot of sugar for a while, and then I do, I just bam, headache hits. So if you kind of get rid of that constant, you're gonna enjoy those little hits of these more savory foods, these bliss point foods, I call them, that just ooh, they hit you really well. So the key is to not get into a habit of needing those all the time for comfort. And this isn't just a holidays thing, this is an all the time thing. So and then stuff that's more bland will start to taste better also. So it's a two-way thing. Not only does that hyper palatable stuff start to just kind of you get used to it, but that becomes your baseline. And then the stuff that you should be having, the higher protein stuff, the vegetables, the fruits, the things like that, they become more bland and less, you won't want to eat them as much. So then that's kind of how you're shifting your taste buds towards this party for your mouth. That's to say it in a certain way. So just give yourself some food here and there, however it is, however you want to do that. That's what I help with. That's part of the nutrition coaching thing. How do we limit this thing so that your taste buds aren't, wanting to make you gag upon eating some chicken breast or some ground beef or some shit. So that's what we try to do. Another thing too is, one thing that is very important is learning to say no. And I think that's picking your battles and picking your events. So I know we said that there's the holidays, right? There's Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving, all that. But I know there's other things. There's work functions, there's friends parties, there's cocktail parties, there's bar crawls, there's just Christmas events, places, there's concerts, things like that. Um, you know, Look, I'm not saying just don't go and sit at home because you're worried about your diet, but pick and choose what you really care about. Like, don't just go to something. What if maybe there's this annual Christmas event that you've been going to, but like the last 2 years, it's just been a drag and you just haven't enjoyed yourself there. But you've gone every year. It's time to put that away. It's time to say no. Say, hey, I'm not going this year. This tradition has run its course. I no longer look forward to this. I end up drinking 7 drinks and eating a bunch of shit food, and I'm useless the following day. You might want to think about not going to that because that's already 2 days of your week right there. That's going to be between hungover and high calorie, and then you're probably going to have to go the next day. And when you're hungover and drunk, you're not reaching for celery. You're going to go and Uber Eats some Taco Bell or Burger King or something like that. Most likely, that's really where it goes. So, at least it was for me. So, you got to pick and choose your stuff, and just you don't have to be out and doing all these things that maybe don't serve you any longer. So that's another thing. So know when a tradition's dead. Know when to say no to something. People should respect that at this point. Most won't because they're all in their own heads or they're, whatever, but there's lots of reasons for it. But who cares what other people think because you're doing you. And that's really what matters. Another thing's like if you want to get festive with the season, decorate your house, light some candles, walk in nature. 30-minute walk a day reduces your uh, chances for heart disease by like 30% or something like that just by walking. Find a place in the next month or so where the leaves are changing. Throw on go get a locale coffee or something with some pumpkin shit in it or something like that. I don't know. Find a way to, don't feel like because you're not destroying yourself that you're like not involved or immersing yourself in the holidays. You can do it. It can happen both ways. It'll tell your body or tell you, your mind will tell you actually that you're not because you're not doing what you'd usually do. It just feels like excessive eating and drinking comes along with this time. And if you're not doing it, you're not celebrating the holidays and you're missing Halloween and you're missing it. You're not. Okay. There's other ways to go about doing that. So I would highly recommend just getting out in nature and finding where the leaves are changing, maybe in an area by you, a forest preserve or something like that, and just take a walk, put on some music, put on some horror punk. I don't know, listen to something, immerse yourself in it without having to just consume and feel like shit. So that can help, I think. I was saying before going to the calorie surplus. What I'm going into one right now, and it's I'm eating over almost 4,000 calories a day. And in the gym, I'm hitting it 6 days a week. That's just me. You don't have to go that much. Everyone's different. Your calorie count will be different. The amount of training you want to do is different. I think maybe 6 days is probably even too much, but I like being there. So hey, that's what I'm going to do, and I've done it in the past, and I enjoy it. So you can get it done in 3 or 4 days too. So don't think you have to go to this huge sacrifice of time and everything to do this. But you can do is calorie surplus. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's literally the reverse of a diet. Basically, you're eating instead of 500 calories under your maintenance level, you're eating about 500 calories over, sometimes a little more. And you're keeping adequate protein. And guess what? You get to add carbs mostly to that. Your calorie surplus is typically should be mostly in carbs or fat or both and if you want to lean it out, you can add a little protein in there. But typically, your protein count should stay right around where it's at for you. Most men, 200 to 220 grams a day. Most women, somewhere between 120 and 140 grams is typically what's average, I think. And I think that's usually what you want to aim for. That 1 gram per your lean body mass. A little more than that, even for a leaner bulk, is what they'll say. So I really think that's a good way to go. And then what you can do is if you've taken yourself seriously enough over the next 3 months, 3 months, 12 weeks, 12, 16 weeks is a great amount of time to go into a surplus. And then if you really want to at the new year, you can just set yourself up for a 4 to 6 week deep deficit, which is going to shed the fat around you if you're doing it correctly. And you'll expose the muscle mass that you've put on. You might see some changes. You might start to get that toned look. That's how it happens. It's those little cuts that you do in between these muscle building sessions with some maintenance breaks in between that gets you to your body composition to where you want to be. So think about that and don't be afraid of it. Have some creatine too. Don't be afraid of that. It's not a steroid, I promise. It's not. It's great. Really good. So, anyways, another thing, maintenance. Maybe you don't want to go into a surplus. Maybe you don't want to be in a diet. Maintain, learn what your maintenance is. Because I'll tell you, right now, if you're like, you know what, I'm just going to go do some walking and I don't really want to go on a diet or I don't want to lift and get start getting bigger, make this. No, there's nothing wrong with just figuring out what your maintenance level is, learning what to eat on a daily basis, like your baseline, like 80, 90% of the time, and just maintaining your current weight until the new year. And then maybe at the new year, you're ready to go, whenever. So, but that's a lot better to maintain. If you weigh 250 pounds right now, and how much better would it be to start at 250 pounds on New Year's rather than at 275? Well, that's kind of a stretch. Maybe 265. Maybe you gain 15 pounds or so because that's a lot of weight to gain, 25 pounds in 3 months. And if you did that, oof, boy, we got to figure out what you're doing because yeah. So anyways, maintenance, don't be afraid to maintain. That's success. Maintain is successful. Okay. Another thing you can do is look for some excuse me, getting over a little cold here, non-alcoholic drinks that are festive, maybe, something that'll give you that like feel. I know there's a hit from alcohol. I understand. I believe me, I have my relationship with alcohol, and I'm not always proud of it. It's a tough subject for me sometimes, but yes, I know there's an agent in that drink that helps you alleviate your anxiety and social lubrication or whatever you want to call it. And it's when you're missing that, you miss it, and I understand that. Okay, but it's not good for you because alcohol slows down your protein synthesis and fat burning, and it's a toxin and it's a carcinogen. It's all of that stuff, all the stuff you don't want it to be. A glass of red wine is not helping your heart, even though there's a scientific piece in there, a thread of it that has some heart healthy benefits. The amount of alcohol and poison you have to put in your body to get the recommended amount of whatever's in red wine. I forget the name of it because I just don't care. But whatever's in the red wine, you'll be like you'll be getting your stomach pumped from overdoing alcohol to get the heart healthy benefits of what's in wine. You'll be shit faced, completely hospitalized, shit faced by the time you get there. So don't believe in that. That's just another one of those stupid little nudges to get you to drink more alcohol. So just go for the NA stuff, make your own, make it low sugar, do something apple flavored, pumpkin flavored. You can do that kind of thing. Not saying don't drink at all if you do, just to limit it. Like maybe you're sitting at home and you want something that's, instead of drinking 4 craft beers on the couch, maybe you just get a pumpkin flavored tea or some shit. I know that doesn't sound as exciting, but hey, if it's a chamomile, it helps you sleep, and you got the flavor you'd like. You wake up the next morning feeling great. So that's just another thing to think about is those is that thing. And same thing goes for recipes. Okay, there's lots of crock pot recipes that are going to have sweet potatoes, pumpkin involved, apples involved, fall like food, squashes, things like that, that you can put a real good meal together in a crock pot or anything really. Something in the realm of, look for some stuff that's about maybe 400 or 500 calories with about 30 to 50 grams of protein in it. You can find that on Skinny Taste, Slender Kitchen. There's so many different sites right now that show the macros and calories, and you can just, Slender Kitchen's great because you can actually go on their site and there's a plus and minus for the recipe that you can say, hey, I'm making 7 servings because I want to have 1 serving of this a day. It'll give you the exact recipe. Now you've got a tray of whatever that is to eat daily, and as you know, it's going to be your 40 grams and 400 calories, and then that's a really good way to go. And if you can theme it out to some sort of holiday theme that you need, do it, and then it's out there. And if not, make it your way. Use some seasonings and just do it. Stick to the gym. I mean, seriously, stick to the gym. Like even if you don't want to diet at all, even if you want to listen to none of the diet stuff, you're just like, it's the holidays. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to do anything. Just go to the gym still. Just keep the habit going, so you don't have to restart that habit. At least at the new year, maybe you want to restart your diet, mate. Right? Like maybe your diet is what needs to get fixed at the new year, but you're already on autopilot at the gym. You're feeling good, and that's working for you. It's kind of similar to the surplus because you would accidentally be in a surplus. They call it a dirty one if you're not tracking your calories and you're just eating at will and eating high calories, and you're probably in a dirtier one. And then it's going to that means you're going to probably gain more fat than muscle. Excuse me. It goes with the season. Getting sick. Kids come home from school, and that's what happens. So here we are. So, anyways, if you can't get to the gym, do something at home. Do it. Just get yourself a set of something, move, do something, please. I'm serious. It's like it's one of those things where you have to just commit to it and do it, and you'll be grateful that you did. Okay. Now I have somewhere, I believe, social media responses that I asked, what your struggle is throughout this time of year. Like what is your struggle right now? So I got some responses here. So one guy says staying away from sweets. So there you go. So it's the sweets that get him. My idea of this is just don't buy them or buy a limited amount. Buy sweets that maybe are individually packaged as opposed to one big bag or one big box. So that way you have to do another step in order to get to the sweets. As if they're a separate package to open up, you won't just keep going. You have to actually get up and go and get something else. But the best way is to keep it out of your house and keep it selective. Keep it selective. Just don't get something that you don't enjoy anymore because you've just had it every year. Just don't eat shit that you don't like, and it doesn't do it for you. If you feel like crap afterwards, pay attention to how you feel after it. After you eat the sweets, pay attention to how you feel, and after you eat the shit, and think about that before you start. Remember how crappy. That's what I had to do a lot, and with drinking, with food. It's like how shitty did I feel after I had this last time, and then that stopped me. Okay. Another person here says keeping diet lockdown through all the events, holidays, and Halloween and onwards. Yeah, again, the hard part is keeping the diet on lockdown, and then that means that you're on a diet, which maybe you don't want to be on. So I would say for this one, is similar to what I'd already said. Um, Keep a baseline and keep that Monday through Saturday, and do well, and then give yourself some leeway on the weekends. You can also, if you know your calorie count, if you're in a deficit and you're still wanting to lose fat, if your deficit's 2,000 calories, just to make it easy, if it's 2,000 calories, you need to be at to lose fat, give yourself, 17, 1,800 Monday through Friday. That backlogs 300, 1,500, 1,800 extra calories or so for the weekends. That gives you some buffer there so that you can have some higher calorie foods, maybe even some drinks, and it won't affect you as much. That's a real way to go about it. It involves a little more tracking, and you have to get to know your portions for sure for that. But yeah, do that. Another gentleman here says it's training for him right now is the hard part. So there you go. Like the last two were food, and this gentleman here says is training is his tough time. There different things happen throughout the year. Different obligations. Maybe work's busier this time of year. Who knows? Maybe there's just more family obligations. We all have different lives, so I can't speculate on this particular person's life. But if this time of year the time becomes limited, like I said before, excuse me, do something at home, even if it's body work, even if it's body squats, even if it's planks, even if it's push-ups. Just create a routine at home that you can do this in. Okay, because your muscle mass is going to stick around if you eat enough protein and you move around enough and you can get some blood to the muscle. You can hold your muscle mass pretty well through that time. And that's the maintenance part we're talking about here. Even if you don't build muscle right now, hold on to it as best you can, and use those ways to do it. And or do more in the gym. If you're not able to get there 6 days a week, 4 days a week, do a longer session if you have more time those days. So that's what I can say for that. It's just do your best and don't let it derail you from everything. And then the last response here is just flat out. This person says time. Okay, that time is now, to me, that's all year. Time is actually the number one excuse, and a lot of times it can be valid. Actually, every time it's valid because we don't have a lot of time. Our society here in the United States doesn't allow a lot of time for taking care of ourselves, and there's lots of different aspects of taking care of ourselves. It's not just our physiques; it's our mental health, it's our emotional health, it's our well-being, our kids' well-being, our hygiene. It's all kinds of stuff. It takes a lot to take care of ourselves. And if you have kids or anyone else you're responsible for, that's double, triple the amount that you have to be aware of. You have to feed them right too. That's your obligation as a parent who cares. And I think we're going to be doing an episode on that soon, which is going to be fun. I can't wait because that's one of the hardest parts, And then yeah, that's another thing too. You got kids in the house; they go to school or whatever. They bring candy home. They go trick or treating. They bring candy home. There's trunk or treat. There's the city events that they go to where they bring candy home and just all that stuff. And then what happens is it sits around the house and it's laying there in a bucket, and you're walking around the house and you're grazing. You take one, and then, we have that thing in our heads where we feel like if we sit there and eat five, six pieces of candy right in a row, we feel like, oh, fuck, this sucks. But for some reason, our brains won't tell us that if we grazed throughout the day and took five or six pieces of candy, for some reason, that's not as bad. Even my own brain will tell me, like, if I have two boxes of cereal in my cabinet, I grab one and I start handfulling it in, and I stop, and it's like, okay, I've had enough here. I got to stop doing this. For some reason, my brain will tell me that if I switched the boxes and I took the other one, that that's okay. It's not as bad. It's clearly the same bullshit. So that's literally how our brains will lie to us, and it does it. I can vouch for it for my own brain doing that. If yours doesn't, good for you. But mine does that. It'll tell me that literally, that, okay, that's enough of this cereal. Keep eating it. You're a fat ass. But if you switch the boxes, you're fine. Keep going. Those calories don't count. Sorry. Eh, just one of those things. But anyways, so that's kind of what I think this time of year kind of brings about. And if you take anything from this episode, anything at all, please don't throw in the towel. That's it. Don't go all or none. Do not wait for the new year to start something. That is my number one, like number one thing to do, because if you throw in the towel, you're not going to do anything else. You're not going to go into a surplus. You're not going to go for walks. You're not going to go 80% on your diet, on your baseline. It's just not going to happen. And you're not going to say no to these events that have run their course. You don't need to go to the same bar crawl and Christmas time bar crawl that you've been going to since you were 22 years old. You don't need to still do this if you're 40 or 50 or 30, whatever it is. You might not have to go anymore. You just stop. Stop doing things, find something new. That's how you grow. If you keep doing the same shit, I learned traditions sometimes were holding me back from growing and expanding and learning, because I flat out just, we have to do this every year now. That's how I am. I'm still like that. I have to battle that. Sometimes it's worth it, but I think traditions will run their course without force. Um, I don't force them and let them be. A lot of times we'll have so much fun doing something that, oh shit, that was such a good time. We look back on it fun. We have to do that every year. We have to go, and usually the next year or two kind of starts to fall flat. It's like you can't recapture that organic time that you had with some people. Or maybe you were out one night at a place with a bunch of friends. It just happened to work out that day. It was Christmas time, and now it's this new Christmas tradition. But, as years go past, now half the people can't even make it that weekend. The other half are sick, and it's just like, oh, we're tried, and now we're just forcing this tradition. Just let it go. Let it go. That's me being a hypocrite by telling you that, because I don't let things go. So, but I'm working on it. I really am. So, like I said, bust out Slender Kitchen for some good meals. Bust out Skinny Taste. They got the macros on there. Hire a trainer or coach. I am available. I am happy to do it. I have been maneuvering through this for very many years and helped others do the same. So to contact me if you'd like any assistance with anything or just to shoot the shit, Instagram, Facebook at MFS Wellness, and Mike at MFSwellness.com. That would be my email address. So that's really it. I think coming up future here, I got Yoli coming back. We're going to do an episode on how we should feed our kids better on child diet. We have kids ages 5 through 11 combined, and that's such a age where they really can learn a little bit about what they should and shouldn't be eating on a regular basis, what's good for their health, why this is not good every day. We're going to do our best for that. Um, so that's coming up. And again, I got others on deck. Just been tough to kind of stay regular here, but I'm not going to stop doing it. I enjoy it. So, and I do appreciate everybody that listens. So, hey, enjoy your pumpkin spice, enjoy your apple cider, get ready for Christmas. Don't let the holidays become a dread either. Okay. Like, you don't want to dread them. These are supposed to be happy times. These are supposed to be times where you are with your family, where you are enjoying some food. And I actually didn't have this on my mind to talk about, but since that just came to me, as important as throwing in the towel, as important as that is, do not allow guilt, shame, low self worth, or any of that shit ruin your holidays That's another reason why that if you are eating at a good baseline throughout this time of year, that when you do get to that Christmas Eve dinner, you're going to feel, hey, I can go to town right now. I have been good. I feel good. I can go ahead and destroy this meal here and do what I want without thinking about it and just have a good time and eat it. And if you've already piled and on and on and on and on with shit and crap and high creamy ass shit and all that stuff, if you've already been piling that on, you're not going to enjoy that food as much. You're going to still feel like shit. And who wants to sit around after dinner on Christmas? When are you going to sit there Christmas Eve? You're supposed to be looking out the fucking window for Santa Claus in the sky. You're not supposed to be sitting there looking at your gut, sitting on the toilet taking a shit because you overate. Come on, stop. And forget it. And like I said before, you're probably eating more real food during these events. Your great aunt Helen made her potatoes again, and they're probably like only 5 or 6 ingredients in there, whereas you go driving through, these fast food places with 9 trillion of them. This processed shit that we're eating all the time. So just be kind to yourself too, and that is a way of treating yourself. Treat yourself in a sense of keeping that baseline right, and then enjoying your food without shame and guilt afterwards. That's really where it comes down to, because this whole thing really is about feeling good and being happy and being content, feeling right in our skin. And that's what it comes down to. It might sound like splitting hairs to some people, but it's real, and it happens, and it continues, and it keeps going. And it's some of you, and I have been there, have just been on that path, and eventually you're gonna get frustrated and say, I've had enough of this shit. You're gonna need to figure something out. So don't let it ruin it. Have a great Halloween, have a great Thanksgiving and Christmas, and into the new year. All that stuff. I will be back with more of this stuff. And to those who listen, thank you so much, and we will talk.